Alright, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be working on the 2018 Corvette behind me. It has a ProCharger with long tube headers on it. My buddy took this car to a shop to have some stuff installed, the supercharger, the long tube headers. They broke the stock exhaust manifold bolt off in the head and then left it in there. So now we got to extract that, drop the manifold, and fix that. So we're going to show you what it takes to do that, give you a walk around the car. So if you have a Corvette and have this problem with your stock manifold or headers, you'll show you how to fix it and how to address it. And once we get it all buttoned up, put back together, we're going to shoot to have this thing hopefully the dyno here soon. So hopefully get some dyno footage of this thing, and we'll get some footage of us out ripping this thing. It sounds amazing when it's running. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and we'll get to it. Alright, I'm doing this kind of a little backwards here, but there's a fuse box here you got to remove, and then you got to remove the radiator overflow. And over here, when you're looking down upon your fuse box, there'll be a 10 millimeter bolt here, one here, and then I believe after you lift it up, there's another one right here. Then these guys here, you just lift these up evenly at the same time and it'll lift off. It was just hard to record all this while doing this, so I just did it first, then just showed you what it takes to get it out. I should have been more thorough with that, but sorry about that, but you get the gist of it. And then you'll have to remove this right here as well. Just lift this little guy up and it'll pop right out, and it just pulls out. Just a little quick connect. And you got a 10 millimeter here and one here. And I believe that's it. I just wiggled it around just a little bit. I haven't disconnected it all the way yet. So, but I'll get that out, show you what that looks like in there, out there and everything. You want to remove all your plug wires and then remove your plugs. You could probably drop the manifold without removing the plugs, but I'm going to be safe and pull all the plugs so I don't break any of them, because we're going to reuse them, because these plugs were just installed with these manifolds, which was less than a couple hundred miles ago. And you can see one of the big major issues here, all the soot on the head there. If he would have ran that for a long time, he could have had some issues. Hopefully it didn't do any damage, but we'll get this broken bolt out and fix this issue, and hopefully we don't have to remove the head. And if we have to remove it, you'll see. And later on we're going to be doing head studs. I wish we were doing them now while we have the manifolds off, but we're not. So that'll be a later video. The car's going to come back for a set of aftermarket heads and head studs as well. Alright, here's the ProCharger on the car. You see the long tube headers are a nice fit in there. Shine some light in there. Hopefully you can see this a little better. And then we'll go back to the problem area, which is over here. When they put the headers on at the shop, they didn't bother repairing that back bolt. They just put it in there and said, that's good enough, I guess. And then you can see right here on this cylinder here that we have a little bit of exhaust leak and a really bad exhaust leak there. So we're going to replace the gasket, put all new bolts in this, because they have some of the bolts from the header kit, and then they just have some, looks like some hardware bolts or some used bolts from who knows what. We're probably gonna have to replace this plug wire. I don't like how the exhaust has got up against it and probably heated it up a little too much. We're also going to put some plug insulators on there, plug wire insulators on there, and hook up a catch can and some more heat protection, and address all the other issues the car has, like with the supercharger. The shop did this, not, look at this, bolts just hand tight on everything. So I'm not going to mention any names on the shop that did this to this poor guy, but we are going to take care of it. Kind of like the ABS box rubbing against the supercharger fluid, and they just thought that was fine. So we're going to fix all this and get her back on the road and go do some hood rat shit with this thing. It don't bend. Let's put my lens cover back on, I don't care. What the hell did I do with the flashlight?
I have it under the car.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit the bed. EBD. Let me see that flashy light. There it is.
You get it?
Yeah. All right, you see these bolts along the belly pan here? You're gonna have to remove all these. There's a half a dozen on each side. Once you get that out, you'll be able to get to the 2 clamps here on the X pipe, and it looks like there's more back there. I'll show you once we get this out. But this also is an aftermarket piece, which also makes the car a little bit more rigid because it's a little bit thicker, and it also indentates down a little bit more than the OEM one. All right, we got the belly pan out, and here's the X pipe. As you can see, you're going to take this bolt out and this bolt out, take the other bolt out up here and that one out, and then these two O2 sensors are going to have to come out because they tuck behind the heat shield. I mean, I could probably just drop this out slowly and take it out with it, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to take these out, put some Never Sees back on when I put them back in, and I'm going to put some heat protection on them. I'll either use spark plug wire wrap or some sort of heat protector on there, especially the one that goes up here and that's just kind of dangling down for the wideband. I'm going to reroute that and also put some heat tape on it of some sort and get the other header out and see if we can extract that bolt. And there's the whole exhaust, nice and pretty. Put the extractor on, which I'll show you what those look like if you don't own a set. You have to. Alright, that's not one to do, so I'm gonna have to get a hammer and tap it. Took the socket off there to give me a little bit more room. Trying to do is not dropping the header all the way completely. Get a different hammer. I'll be right back. Alright, we got my crescent hammer. Couldn't really find a hammer that was going to fit in there. We'll give this a try. Okay, we got that extractor on there. You can see where it's almost flush against the head. Shine some light on it so you can see. So, set this flashlight up so where you guys can have a little bit more light on the subject. Now I loosened all the exhaust up and everything so the exhaust could drop down. I didn't take it completely all the way out. I will show you underneath what I did, but it was just so the exhaust can drop. So you didn't have to take the whole thing out. But that just did what I didn't want it to do. It spun. I'm going to try something else real quick. I'm going to try some hillbilly stuff here. I'm going to try to put this nut on there. I just kind of halfway sat on there right now. I'm going to try to thread it on as far as I can. And then I'm probably going to have to put a weld on the back side of this, because my nut extractors weren't gripping on the threads enough. If I would have had a little bit of a collar of a bolt on there, it would probably have worked better. Or if the bolt would have just been maybe 1 or 2 threads longer, that nut extractor would have worked great. But I want to try this first before trying anything else. Let's see if I can fake this guy off here. Helps if I turn it the right way. Hoping I can get this to thread on a little bit. Which it doesn't feel like it is going to. Try to get a little straighter on it. That's not working. Come on, bite. Just a little bit. There you go. Looks like it's threading on, which will be amazing if it does. Alright, now you can see I have that nut threaded on that stud. So give me a few minutes, I'll reset my camera. I'm going to put a weld right here. I'm probably going to use the TIG torch and just run the tungsten across it. And just weld that nut to that. While it's hot, I'll try to back it out. Give me a second. Alright, we are going to try to TIG weld this now and see if we can get it to go without blinding myself though. Trying to just do it with its own metal. I'm going to try to get a piece of rod in there. Give me a minute. Oh, well, this is not good in here. You want that to get stuck on there, but I'm not very tall. I'm standing on my tippy toes, so this car on jack stands. Should have set it down, but didn't want to. Cross our fingers and hope this guy comes out. Hard turning, so I don't know if I'm just backing the nut off or if I'm turning the whole thing. Find out here in a second. Looks like it's coming out. One thing that has me worried is those threads look bad. Ooh, we got it out, but yeah, as you can see, those threads, it pulled some aluminum. We might be able to get away with running a tap through it, but it's pretty chewed up in there. That's why you do not use air tools to put shit together. I guarantee that's what happened. There's no way they did this by hand. They used an impact on it or something. It's the only way you're going to do that. Because these are only 12 inch-pounds. Not inch-pounds, 12 foot-pounds of torque to torque these. So, I mean, that's the only way you're going to do that. And this is what these nut extractors look like, or broken stud extractors. Multiple companies make them. Irwin, Craftsman, every tool company makes these. They're really inexpensive. They usually work well for great other applications. In our situation, it didn't work, but the welding technique did. The culprit right there, broken stud, and I got a bore scope in there. I'm going to slowly pull it out so you can see. You can see how chewed up that is in there. That's what it's supposed to look like, and that's what it looks like. So I talked to my buddy who owns the car. We're going to go ahead and put this back together the way it is for right now for just a short period of time. Then we were going to be doing a set of Texas speed heads on this to fix this issue. Normally I would pull this head off if it was my car. I would probably just pull the head off and change it because it's, you know, using for high horsepower applications. I would not put a heel coil in. You can argue with me all about it all you want, but something that heats and cools that drastically, I'm just going to change the head if it was my car, and that's what we're going to do with this. But for right now, we're going to put this back together the way it was and send it for a few weeks until we get the new heads and head studs and trunnion upgrade and all that fun stuff, and we'll have a video on that as well. We're going to do some little bit more stuff underneath the car, wrap up the O2 sensors so that protect them from heat, and then readjust some clamps. But all in all, that's how you get a bolt out of a broken head on a Corvette. So
Darker than me out here.
Alright guys, we are getting ready to take this thing out for a test ride. We are going to do a little bit of street tuning on this thing. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So, entrance ramp.
I wouldn't do it on the entrance. Well, I mean, just not on a curve.
No, I won't. I'll make sure it's on straight.
Because even with traction control, and it gets real sketchy.
Well, when I got out of it on 40, it felt like it was...
Traction control is probably trying its fucking hardest. Like, I got you, don't worry.
Probably should have went, but oh well.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I think it might have been you, because we have good fuel across, all just good fuel, all the way up until 2.4 is where you stopped at.
Yeah. That, and I was already pushing close to like double the speed limit, so I was. Which I'll have to blur that out. Yeah, what was in first gear? I was in fourth.
Who are you? excited.
Yeah, couldn't help myself.
You see what I mean by fucking long gears?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm about to sell both my Skylines. Sell the GTR and sell the fucking GTST and just buy me fucking 2 Corvettes.
Why? So you can actually just fucking freight train on people?
That way I can have one that has a big giant turb ski sticking out the hood and one that does, you know, has 2.
So you did hit 75% throttle.
I don't think I floored it because it started to break, like the ass end started to come out a little bit. So I decreased throttle when the ass end started to come out. So wherever the traction control kicks on, if it shows you that, that's when I got out of it a little bit. I stayed in it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I lit up a little.
It was like 5.2.
Yeah, I pedaled a little bit.
Mind you, we have like all the traction control on too, and it still wants to roll into a burnout doing 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, it definitely wants to blow the tires off at freeway speeds.
So we're gonna go out this summer and go hunting hellcats?
Oh yes. We're gonna have to put the other heads on here, cam, water meth,
We're
and
gonna die. You know that, right?
no, what we're gonna do is, okay, we're gonna bait people.
I'm saying traction control is barely keeping up with us right now.
My car don't have traction control and it makes about the same power.
Yeah, you're also all-wheel drive.
No, I'm not. The GTST, the black car, is rear wheel. The GTR is all wheel. You're not lying about fucking tall gears in this thing.
Huh?
I said you're not lying about tall gears. 6 gear, it's almost like idling.
Yeah. It's like this car was made to fucking reel people in on the highway.
Yeah, I need one of these.